All right, just a friendly reminder that on Monday you will have a vocab quiz, and it will be correct. Next period, they're also going to have a vocab quiz, and theirs will be correct. So don't text them and be like, oh, there's no vocab quiz, because it's happening. So shame on me for you. I'm so sorry, but they will be taking it. Keep in mind that on Monday you have 11 through 20. We're doing a primary source. Tuesday 21 through 24. Nope, I don't know. There might be 30 this week. I have no idea because clearly I was looking at the wrong vocab this morning, so never mind. Lecture, your map and your primary sources due. We did pretty much finish the map in class, so hopefully you finished coloring before Tuesday. Wednesday, for test, it's 30 minutes. It's 5 minutes less than before, but you guys finished well before time, so you shouldn't be that stressed about that. I do want to make a quick comment about this weekend. If you think I'm going to have any kindness, patience, understanding about you not getting your job done and getting your focus and your spice and all that stuff due on time because of Gasparilla, you don't know me. And I will not be kind. I also don't want you to do anything stupid. I want you to be well behaved. Go on a trip that you have no idea where you're going and you're straight up being kidnapped for $150 bucks. Yeah. No, I don't suggest that. I don't suggest that. But keep yourselves out of trouble, ladies and gentlemen. Stay home, do spice. That sounds like a great Saturday. But I'm expecting all of you to be here safe on Monday. So let's do it. So make sure you do get your homework, because if you think I'm going to be kind, you are delusional. Here we go. Industrial Revolution. Everything changes. After the Industrial Revolution, those countries who have the natural resources, who can raise their hand and give me one country that is going to thrive because they have the natural resources to do so. What do you got, Munson? Great Britain is going to thrive because they have what two things, Munson? Iron and coal. If you got those two resources, you are perfectly set for the Industrial Revolution as long as you have the capital in order to get them. What country does not have the capital to get them according to the map? Colton. Poland. Why do we know that Poland doesn't have the resources to get it?
Because they don't have enough railroads.
They have no railroads. Okay, you can't be harvesting coal if you can't move the coal. There's no point of getting it if you can't do anything with it. They don't have the financial capital to do it. Hence why Poland is going to be one of the most sought-after territories in Europe during World War I, World War II, and in between, because whoever owns Poland owns all their resources. So, coal is going to replace steam, which replaces wind, water, human labor, and all that stuff. Transportation is going to change. Trains, automobiles. Okay, new watercraft. What kind of boat do we have for the first time? Steamboat. Yes, look at us putting these things together. Here we go. So, creation of new classes. Patrick, you don't need everything, my darling. Thank you kindly. So, we have creation of new classes. First of all, you need to know that we have the industrial middle class. Who can raise their hand and tell me who would be in the industrial middle class? Daniel.
Factory owners?
No. They would be in the wealthy, because who's making all the money off the factory?
People who own it.
Yeah, so who is it?
The factory workers.
Factory workers are going to be in your middle class, because they have reliable income, they have money coming in, all of those different types of things. Zach?
Coal miners?
Coal miners are going to be on your lower, to a degree. They're going to be in your middle eventually. But for a while, coal is a really easy kind of get, because it's just underneath the surface. Then, as we start using it, what are we going to do? Keep digging, which is why coal mines today are so deep, because we've been mining it for over 150 years, almost 200 in some places. So it's a shift in political power. Who is getting power now? Come on, we started talking about it last week. People. So we started last week talking about how are people getting power last week? Popular sovereignty. This week, well, how are people? Does anyone know how we get power? Labor unions. Labor unions, absolutely. Have you wondered why we have a 40-hour work week? Labor unions. Have you ever wondered why we have a 5-day work week? Labor unions. Have you ever wondered why people get overtime? Labor unions. Okay, before factory work and labor unions used to work 6 days a week. Why? Why only 6? Can't work on Sunday. It's God's day. There you go. So we would have, now we only work 5. So that way people could have a day off to do everything they had to do they couldn't do during the week. And, of course, they could worship God. So all of these things are starting to come about. So when we talk about the cost of the negatives of the Industrial Revolution, I would write these down. The negatives are, first and foremost, it completely destroys natural environment. Okay? We're going to see that, first of all, burning coal, is it clean or dirty?
Dirty.
It's incredibly dirty. Which is so weird here in 2018. Whether you agree with Trump or not, you cannot argue that Trump has rolled back coal production regulations, which means coal is now dirtier now, today in 2018, than it was in the 1970s. In 2018. So for the first time in almost 40 years, we have orange and purple rivers running in coal mining states. Why do we have orange and purple rivers flowing through coal mining states? Why? It's a runoff from coal production. To clean coal, we have to use tons of chemicals to douse all the coal. Okay? So now, for instance, we have all of these pollution that are coming out of our coal mining states right now. All of that, do you think they had any regulation back in the industrial era? No. So guess what's everywhere? Pollution. Coal is really dirty. Anyone ever lived in a coal house? Anyone ever, touched coal? Oh, God, people. Okay, yeah. It is super what, Callie? It's really dirty, really sooty. Even clean coal is really dirty. Clean coal is like a burning thing. It's not like a touching thing. Okay? My house up in Massachusetts had a coal burning fire. So we got a coal chute and all that crap in. And when it would come in, we had wood floors on the floor. You could see the soot when they poured it in through the street, because they funnel it in into our basement. There would be soot coming through the wood boards. That's how dirty it is and stuff like that. So our city's going to be polluted or not polluted? Heavily polluted. Okay. We're also having, for the first time, large amounts of people living in our street and living in our cities. Do you think the cities are well planned and ready to handle them, or you think it's a hot damn mess? Hot damn mess. Absolutely. Streets are dirty. Do we have plumbing back then? Yes, what do we do with our bowel movements? Into the street. Guess what you do when you walk in your house? You wear your shoes, right? So we're going to have an explosion of disease. People are going to be dying. Of course, we have we have some automobiles, but what is going to be the most common way to move goods? Horses. Horses poop, correct? Carries diseases and all that stuff. The whole cities are disgusting. Okay? Social ills. We have people who aren't farming. We have migrating forces. So people are just everywhere, and people don't have jobs. So it's not a great time. So the Industrial Revolution starts in Britain in 1780s. The Industrial Revolution starts in Britain. You absolutely need to know that. And it kicks off right around the 1780s. Okay? The reason why it starts in England, you're going to want to write this down, okay? There is a food surplus. Who can raise their hand and tell me why a food surplus is a big deal? This is the second agricultural revolution. I would also write that down. This is the second agricultural revolution. Why would food surplus allow a new era to begin? Abby?
So they don't have to worry about farming.
They can do other things. Just like when we were hunting and gathering, when we started farming, it allowed us to start specialization of labor, correct? So people didn't have to farm. They could make cheese, they could make wine, they could make tables, right? Now we're in our second agricultural revolution, which you better have that term down. That second agricultural revolution, even less people are going to have to farm, and you're going to want to write this down, because of mechanization. Less people farm because of mechanization. When I say that, what am I saying? What do I mean? What would be an example of mechanization in farming, Walker?
Tractors?
Tractors! Yes! We have tractors for the first time. To a degree. They're going to be later, okay? But we're going to have all different types of technology for the first time. Now, tractors are going to be later, but tractors is a great example. What are some early mechanization that we're going to introduce to farming? Plow. Steel plow is going to be. A horse-led plow is also going to be kicking it, okay? We have all of these different types of things. We have the multi-plow. For 2 horses, you can plow 3 rows. It's the foundation of what the tractor is. Okay? So, all of these things. Disposable income. Who can raise your hand and tell me what disposable income is? we talked about today is not a funky thing. What's disposable income? Oh my God, people. Christian. No, paper money would be paper money. But if I have disposable income today, I got paid today. I didn't. I really wish I did. But if I got paid today, I have a couple extra bucks. What am I going to do with it? I'm going to go what? I'm going to take my man out for dinner tonight. You know, maybe stop at Publix and pick up a couple items I've been saving my money for. Disposable income is when you have a little extra cash. What do we do with it? When you have disposable income, what do you do with it? You spend it. I have money I put away to savings every single week. Okay, I'm always trying to save money and stuff like that. But if I have some disposable income, what do I do? Spend it. How does disposable income help our economy? Yes, absolutely. We're more willing to buy crap. What are some things that we buy when we have extra money? Food? No, we don't. We need food. But yes, treats, cookies, cakes, and pies. Yes, but really, big scheme. What do we buy when we have disposable income? Clothes, absolutely. We buy clothes. We buy hats. Remember, hats were very fancy back then. Okay, we buy different types of shoes. We buy all these different things. Does that help the economy or hurt the economy? Help the economy. There you go. Population's going to increase. So, with a population increase, we have more people living because we have more food, because we have a food surplus, correct? We have more people, which means we have more people buying things. Does that help our economy or hurt the economy? Help it. When we have a labor supply, that means we have people who can do the work. So if I open a factory, I'm not going to open a brand new factory and no one's there to work. I'm going to be opening the factory and saying, hello, 2,000 people, come work, because there's plenty of people to work. It's a good thing. Okay, so the reason why it's England is because they have coal and iron ore. Without coal and iron ore, nothing's happening. You should probably write some of this down, Cal. It's a big reason. Okay? They also have a very small country. So, with a small country, is it easy or hard to lay railroads? Easy, yes. When you have the United States, do you think it's easy to lay a railroad across the United States? No. It took us like 40 years to do it, people. Okay? River and canal system. Okay? We have all of these little rivers and stuff like that. We can move goods easier. And we also have colonies. We need colonies because colonies need to do what to our goods? Buy them. Okay? If we're producing things in England, okay, do you think we're going to have more than what they... For instance, how many refrigerators do you have in your house? Maybe one or two, correct? Okay? Do you need a third one?
My dad would say yes.
Do you need a fourth one? So if we have a company that's mass producing 15,000 refrigerators a day with a population of 1 million people, how many refrigerators do you need? Not that many. So what do we have to do with all those goods that we're mass producing? We got to sell them somewhere else, correct? What does England have that most countries don't have? Tons of colonies, correct? So, with the Industrial Revolution, you have to have a market to sell it. England's making everything, and they have the opportunity to sell it, which allows them to do it. Okay, so, here's some big things. Yes, you do need to know these, sadly. I'm so sorry, but for some reason, AP loves this crap. The Flying Shuttle is by John Kay. The Flying Shuttle is a faster way to loom things. Loom, okay, stop for 2 seconds, okay? You all see my really nice plant shirt. That's kind of out of season. It's fine. Okay, my plant shirt. Okay, what they do is that they loom this actual fabric. Okay, look down at your shirt. Pull up your shirt. You'll see, oh, I got a pen on it already. That's nice. It's a big day. Okay, if you look at your shirt, you look at the pattern, you're going to see that there's an up and down pattern and a cross pattern, correct? Hello? Okay, the straight pattern are going to be straight fibers, and the cross pattern is where they shoot the thread through, correct? And it creates a massive thing of fabric. Once they create the massive thing of fabric, then they cut out what they want, and then they sew it together. You understand the basic foundation. Okay, so what we had to do when we wanted to loom fabric before is that you would sit there with all of your strings, and then you would push the shuttle one side, pull it down, then you would push it the other way, pull it down, switch. You got to switch the fibers so it wouldn't just fall out. Does that take a long time? Yeah, absolutely. So now, with the Flying Shuttle, it's steam engine. So what happens is, it's doing this, it's doing like 15, what a human could do in about 4 hours, it's doing in 4 minutes. What's that going to increase? The production of what? Textiles. Textiles. You need to write down, put a big star. Textiles are the largest produced item in the world and the highest demand. Why? Because it makes clothes cheap. What does everyone need? Clothes. Everyone needs to clothe themselves. Traditionally, your mom would make her own shirt from her loom, her house loom, and then that shirt would be worn by generations until it was tattered. Then they would turn it into towels, and then eventually, after years of being a towel, they would throw it away. Now, all of a sudden, this whole idea of owning clothes, going to the store and purchasing is now possible because of textiles. The mule, okay, this is going to make thread faster. Why do we need thread faster? Because we can make more clothes. We can make more textiles. So the mule makes threads faster, and then the power loom. That is going to accelerate the actual weaving of cloth. All of this is going to make textiles the most profitable and the most commonly mass-produced item during the Industrial Revolution. So the fact that none of you made your clothes today is because of these inventions. The fact that you go to a thing called a clothier, or clothing store, is because of this, okay? Now the funny thing is that it's coming back in vogue that people are getting their clothes hand-sewn again, which is kind of funny because it's super, super expensive. Not hand-woven, because that would be such a pain, but people are getting their suits and stuff hand-tailored now. So the steam engine, yes, you do need to know them. Everything is powered by steam during the Industrial Revolution. Okay, so what happens is what we use, what type of burning, what type of natural resource do we burn? Coal. The coal heats up, okay, the water. The steam start moving all of the pistons, and the pistons are what's going to power the movements of the machine. It's steam power. It's going to be incredibly important. So, if you need steam, what do you need? We need coal, and what else do you need? Water. Absolutely. Water is going to be a huge resource that we're going to need as well. So, iron and steel. Okay, iron is going to be cheap. Steel is very expensive to make. It's so expensive to make that it's used as jewelry up until a guy called Henry Bessemer. Now, Henry Bessemer is an Irish guy, okay? He is going to figure out how to make steel really cheap and mass produce it. He is then going to move to the United States and open up the Bessemer firm. Does anyone know where he opened the Bessemer firm and made steel? What's the name of Pittsburgh's football team?
Steelers.
So where did he open up his massive plant? Pittsburgh. The Bessemer process takes the price of steel and plummets. What do we use steel for?
House support.
House support, building support, skyscrapers, correct? There's a 15-story building being built next to me. Guess what most of it is? Steel. The base is concrete, and then they produce steel now up top. Why? Because it's lighter, correct? So, historically, if you've ever been to an old part of town, like for like Boston, New York, and stuff like that, how high do the houses go? They go 3 stories. If you go to the brownstones in New York and stuff like that, brownstones in Boston, they go 3 stories. Because if you go to the 4th, the building will collapse on itself because it's too heavy with brick. Okay, so when we start using steel, what can we build? Skyscrapers. That's when we start having a huge explosion in New York. You've all seen the picture of the steel workers sitting on top of this New York skyline. There you go. So the Bessemer process, the Bessemer converter, makes it much cheaper. We also need steel for what? What's a huge thing that we need to have in order to become an industrial power?
Railroads.
Railroads. So what do we use for the ties? Steel. So the foundation of everything is steel. So railroads. The first one's going to happen in 1815. Very, very expensive. In 1829, we're going to have the rocket, which goes 28 miles an hour. Woo! That was a big, big deal because remember, we were relying on horses. So we also have steamships. Okay. We also have, we obviously are going to start really putting down railroads, and we're going to start having inexpensive transportation. Who can raise their hand and tell me why governments all of a sudden are concerned about inexpensive transportation? Why are people worried about moving people around for the first time? Why do governments building things to make it easier? Think about it logically. Why? Where do people have to go? Well, yes, resources, but it doesn't take a lot of people to get the resources. Guys, where did your parents go this morning? They went to work. Can you have a booming economy if no one can get to work? No. So what do we have to do? We have to build subways, right? Yes. Okay. We have cable cars. Why are all those things built? To get people to work faster, because if people can get to work, the economy continues. All right, growth of factories, machine labor, supply labor, transport of raw materials, finished product. You need to know the trains are moving people and raw materials and manufactured goods. Manufactured goods are what comes out of a factory at the end, correct? All of your textiles and all that crap. So if I'm at for instance, washing machine company, my raw materials are what? Metal, correct? Plastic. Well, here in 2018, plastic. The little computer crap, I don't know. My expertise is running very short right now. Okay, so that would be all my raw materials. My manufactured would be the assembled thing. So the factory system, okay. Let's do whiteboards. Let's go. On your whiteboard, please tell me, what is the first industrialized country in the world? Good. What is it? What is it, Jamal? Great Britain. On your whiteboard, please tell me, what two things are required for an industrialized nation? What two resources are required for an industrialized nation? Iron is incorrect. Iron is a completed manufactured product. What is it, Ryan?
Coal and iron ore.
Iron ore. Iron ore is a dust and all that stuff. It's a little bit of a rock kind of thing, but it's very easy to break down. Once you manufacture the iron and you smelt it, you shape it, then it's iron. If you write down iron on an AP exam or in one of my essays as a reason why England's going to thrive, it's wrong. No one is like digging in the ground. Oh, I found iron. Wow, a whole beam. Perfect. That's what you say. When you say iron, it's like you found a little cube of metal perfectly smelted in the ground. That makes no sense. Do we see the difference between the two? Okay. On your whiteboard, please tell me. What is the most manufactured item coming out of the Industrial Revolution? What is the most manufactured item? Pine isn't a manufacturer. That'd be a raw material. What is it? Carlota?
Textiles.
Textiles. On your whiteboard, what singular transportation advancement is going to transform the entire world and allow industrialized countries to thrive? Well, non-advanced countries are going to fall drastically behind. What do you got? Cade. Railroads. On your whiteboard, please tell me who created a more economically less time-consuming iron making and steel making process. What is the name behind steel making? Good. Who is it? Krishma. Bessemer. This is a huge deal. You need to know his name. The Bessemer process is going to allow cities to be built. This building has steel in it. That's why it's still standing, all that crap. Okay. On your whiteboard, please tell me what is one invention that is going to allow textiles to boom and to flourish. Give me one invention that is going to allow the production of textiles to flourish. Come on. Good. What's one, Munson? Okay, and what's another one? Power loom. What's another one, Sarah? Flying shuttle. On your whiteboard, please tell me. Give me two reasons why the Industrial Revolution started in England. What are two reasons? Don't tell me iron ore and coal. That's not going to work. Good. That would be one. I'm looking for two, Callie. Abby, what do you got?
Food surplus and a disposal.
There you go, which means people are willing to buy other items. Absolutely. On your whiteboard, please tell me good or bad for the environment, Industrial Revolution. Good or bad? Good. Dylan? Very bad. So when we talk about countries like today, here in 2018, China, would we say that they have a good relationship with the environment or a poor one? Poor. The reason why they have a poor one is because they didn't industrialize until the 1950s. It takes about 100 years after industrialization before regulations begin to affect our industrialized cities. So newly industrialized countries have very poor environmental concerns. Okay, the United States, we're going to go about 100 years. We're just polluting. Everyone's dirty and disgusting. You know, everything's covered in soot and stuff until we start our regulation. It takes about 100 years for it to happen. It only happened in the 1950s for China, so it's going to take a while before they get caught up. What?
Wait, why was China so late to industrialize?
Because they're going to be conquered by the Europeans up until 1950 when they liberate themselves. And then at that point, everyone wanted China's resources. They didn't want China to industrialize. Has Africa industrialized on a major scale?
No.
Why? Europeans are withholding them because they want the resources. They're exporting all the resources out. That's why. Okay? So we're going to weaponize industrialization here. So when we start putting the factory system is when people go to work to build things. That's about what you need to know. So when something new starts, is it well regulated? Is working in a factory, especially in the beginning, going to be a good thing or a bad thing?
Bad.
Very bad thing. It's going to have very long hours. It's going to be very dangerous. Who is going to be the most commonly hired people in factories? Who can raise their hand and tell me who's going to be working in factories the most? Colton?
Maybe really poor people.
Okay, it's always going to be poor people. Wealthy people aren't going to be like, oh my God, so glamorous, working in a dangerous factory for low pay. Who are going to be the most common people working in a factory, Abby? No. Abby, oh my God, you would have to pay them well, wouldn't you? We don't want to pay them well, Abby. Kids. Kids are a huge labor source. So you people are lazy. You didn't put in your 16 hours yesterday at work. You came to school? How dare you? Who else is going to be working in factories? We got kids. Come on. We're running out of options here, people. Jamal. Women. Yes. Yes. You only have to pay me a third of what you would pay Walker. Why would you pay Walker? You can get 3 of me for a Walker. Why would you pay him? So our factories are filled with women and children and men supervising, obviously, because we're not smart enough to run ourselves. You know, we are not smart enough to know anything. We can just do things. There you go. What do you got?
Wait, weren't kids good because they could fit in the machine and fix them? So I heard that someone
They're very good. They have very small hands, which can be easily ripped off, and then you bleed over the cloth, and then you have to pay for the cloth. Child labor, it's great. All right, so working conditions. So it's a huge shift. Okay, keep in mind that we're going from farming to now working in factories. Is there a big difference? Absolutely. 6 days a week originally, 14 hours a day. Sounds like a good time. That includes kids, people. We aren't separating kids from adults. They're just smaller people who get paid less because they can't do as much. Okay? The first protest is going to be the Ludette protest. Okay? You're going to want to write that down. This is the foundation of labor unions. They're going to break a bunch of machines and demand better pay. Okay? It's going to be very popularly supported. Eventually, of course, we all understand that the factory owners are going to hang them, correct? Why would the factory owners hang these people? You can raise your hand and tell me why. Patrick. They're a threat to everything, absolutely. We can't have this happening. So, when we talk about industrialization, it's going to go England, France, Germany. These are your big 5. You need to write this down. Your big industrialized. England, France, Germany, Belgium, and who's our 5th? America, yes! Those are your big 5. England, Germany, France, Belgium, US. Those are your major ones. Now, Western Europe is going to be industrialized first. Long term, this is why in Europe is going to be a world power, and that's where most of the world's power sits, is in Europe, which is very interesting because Trump is with the world elite right now in Davos, Switzerland, yes? All of the Western Europe is there. We got some African countries. We have one. Had an awkward conversation with Trump yesterday. He was not pleased with his comments from 2 weeks ago. And we got China there now because I think we can all agree China's become a major economic power in the world. But mostly, most of the countries are from where?
Europe.
Because why? They industrialized first, which means they have had more experience with all this stuff. So it's going to really happen during the French Revolution and Napoleonic Wars. So can you imagine all the chaos of the Reign of Terror, and then you're working in a really crappy factory situation? Can you imagine? How terrible. You may be accused of being an enemy of the state, and then you have to work 14 hours, and then you go home and you get hung. Like, oh, man, like, why couldn't you come pick me up at work, man? Like, at least get me out on the last day. Come on. So, with Napoleonic Wars, it's going to allow actually a lot more stuff to go. Bismarck uses industrialization to gain power. You know how we talked about blood and iron? The iron is industrialization. That's what his iron is. It's not, oh, let's pick up some swords. Time has changed, people. We're not picking up swords and we're not picking up just guns anymore, where economic warfare is a big thing. So, when you talk about industrialized Europe, obviously it's going to be further west. Okay. North America, it's going to start happening in the 1820s. Why is it a delay? Why do you think? So, England is going to start industrialization in the 1780s, just after the American Civil War. Why does it take till the 1820s? Why do you think, Callie? Okay, so we got some government issues, of course, but everyone likes making money, Callie. So, like, I'm going to make money where I can make money. Munson.
Do they not have the technology?
We don't have the technology. Why don't we have the technology? Okay, no, they are trading because they know that we have a large market and they want our goods. So they start trading with us pretty quick. Guys, if you're in England and you're the first country to industrialize, you're like, oh my God, France! Do you want to learn how we did this? Oh my God, let's be competition. Would they do that? So what did they try making factory plans and all of this industrial technology? Would they try making it? State secret, absolutely. So one guy in England memorized the plans of a factory. Memorized it. If you worked in a factory, it was illegal for you to leave the country of England. Why? So you don't spread the information. Well, anyway, he smuggled himself on a ship to Massachusetts. In Massachusetts, as soon as he got on the ship, he started drawing these plans again, trying to recreate the plans. Got off in Massachusetts, and he found himself the perfect location. And that is going to be up in North Massachusetts. And I can't think of the name of the town right now. It's a complete ghost town. The economy is complete crap because we no longer produce things here in the United States. Can't think of the name of it. Anyway, and he built the first factory. What does he need to have in order to build the first factory? What do you need to have? Think about all the things we've talked about. I pointed it out. What is something you need to have in order to have a factory? Colton.
Steel.
Steel. You need steel. Does America have iron ore and coal? Yes, we do. Okay, but where do you put a factory? Where does it need to be? Next to a labor source? Well, yeah, it needs to be with people. I mean, I'm not going to build it out in, like, Montana. Huh? And railroads are going to come to you. Yes, you need to be able to do it. But what do you need to have? Water. You need to have water. Do we want fast-moving water or slow-moving water? Fast-moving water. So, where are fast rivers? North or south? North. Why are more fast-moving rivers in the north than in the south? Here in the United States, Jamel. Okay, yes, it flows north to south. We also have more mountains and stuff, correct? Up north, yes? When you think about the Mississippi River, is that a fast-moving or slow-moving thing? It's a slow-moving river, yes. If you go up north, you'll see, like, rivers coming off mountains and stuff, and that stuff is, like, hauling it down, okay? The north is going to industrialize, the south is not, for two reasons. A, the south doesn't have, you're going to want to write this down. The south does not have fast-moving rivers, and they also don't have a lot of rivers. Can we agree? The second thing is, what is the south preoccupied by? Cotton. So first of all, they have the infrastructure. All of a sudden having a boom in cotton production, correct? Because now they have a higher demand, so cotton for the first time is actually profitable. Do you think they give a crap about factories? No, they already have their little niche. So they don't need to worry about factories. So guess what part of the country is going to start adopting factories really, really quickly? The north. That's why all the factories are in the north. Okay? So, we're going to start seeing all this stuff. So, mass production. So, Eli Whitney, you absolutely need to know his name. If you don't know his name already, how have you survived? Right? Don't you all know his name?
Yeah.
Okay. So, Eli Whitney invents the cotton gin in 1793. He single-handedly saved slavery in the United States. What a hero. Yes. So, by probably 1910, slavery would have been eradicated because it was too expensive. Cotton was not profitable anymore. Would have died out. But Eli Whitney saved it. So, good for you, Eli. And he creates the cotton. 1810. Sorry. No, no. 1810. He would have died out pretty quickly. So what he does is he creates the cotton gin. Essentially, it's like 3 hairbrushes separating the cotton fibers from the seeds. Because if you don't essentially use you have to sit there and hand pick out the seeds because it gets caught in machines and stuff, and it's really time consuming. So the cotton gin essentially is like 3 hairbrushes rotating, and it drops the seeds to the floor. And all you have is all of the fiber, which is what we actually need. They put it in a pile, bundle it up, send it to the factories. They're going to start turning it into thread, and then all of a sudden we got textiles. Okay? Cotton gin is a big production. For 1 acre of cotton, pre-cotton gin, it would have taken almost a week to process it. With the cotton gin now, 1 acre could be done in about 20 minutes of processing. Do you see the difference? Do you see how much profitable cotton can now be? Because if it only takes you 15 minutes to clean about 1 acre with a cotton gin, you can sell it faster. The more you can sell, the more cotton you grow. The more cotton you grow, you need more slaves. Yes. So what are we going to be importing at a faster rate? Slaves. Yes. So mass production is going to be the hallmark of societies. Of course, we got Henry Ford, who creates what company? Ford, and it's all about mass production. Mass production means, and please listen, okay? If I'm Henry Ford, working in Henry Ford's factory, and I'm in charge of putting in 1 lug nut into the wheel, like I do the top one, okay? Caroline's going to do this one at the 1 o'clock position. Then Bronson's doing the one at the 3 o'clock position, and then Jamel's doing the 4. Am I going to get pretty good at doing one thing all day? Yeah. Am I going to be faster or slower? Faster. That's mass production. We've got the car moving and everyone has one job, which means we can do it super fast because it's the only thing you do. Mass production is genius. This is what makes the industrial world thrive. He can make a car every 93 minutes versus 728 minutes. So cars are going to be cheaper or more expensive? Cheaper. However, how does Ford make money? If cars are now cheaper with him doing this, how is he making money? He's making a lot of them and selling a lot of them. People are buying them. So normal people like you and I who are working in factories and stuff like that, guess what we can buy? Cars, because they're so cheap. He drops the price of cars almost 1,000%. Drops and plummets them, and then he just starts building massive ones, which is pretty cool. Large factories, okay, we're going to start having corporations. Corporations are very unique, okay? So say, for instance, I want to start a bakery, right, Kane? I want to start a bakery, but I only have $1,000, and I need about $15,000 to start, okay? Am I screwed? If I become a corporation, Kane, you can invest in me, which I know you would, wouldn't you? You'd be like, oh my God, Miss Ben, I want to invest in you. I am short. Let's make it a pretty number. I need 10,000, I have 1. You're going to give me 8%, 80% of my revenue to start, correct? Which means when I start making money, guess who gets 80% of my profits? You do. Okay? So whatever you invest, so say I invest 50% into a corporation, guess how much of the profits I get? 50%. If I invest 20% at the start of a corporation, guess what I get in profits? 20%. Do you see how it works? Yes? So, we're pulling money to start it, okay? Monopolies. Monopolies is when one person controls the entire industry, okay? John D. Rockefeller, you should know him, right? You've heard of him. Rockefeller Square, have you heard of that? That's where the big Christmas tree is in New York. Rockefeller Hall. That's where the Rockettes look just like that, actually. Oh, I just kicked you. They look just like that when they do it. All of that's named after John D. Rockefeller. The reason why it's named after John D. Rockefeller is why? He bought it. He donated it to the city and stuff like that. He built it in order to put his name on it. Okay? Anyway, he controlled all the oil in the United States. So if he wanted to lower prices to 10 cents instead of the national average of 15 cents, okay, he could. Why would he lower the value of gas and oil? It's what we're doing to Panama, what the OPEC is doing to Panama today. Does anyone know? Okay, so I don't know if you've noticed. Have you noticed in the last year, 2 years, gas has been pretty cheap? Your parents have been complaining. Okay, about maybe 5 years ago, gas used to be like 5 something a gallon. Now we're flirting with 3, which is pretty damn great. When McCray and I started dating, we were long distance dating. He lived in Tampa and I lived in St. Augustine. I was paying $8 a gallon. Yeah, to go long distance made no sense. Thank God we got married. What a waste of money it would have been. Anyway, with that being said, the reason why gas is so low right now is because OPEC, who is in charge of all, led by Saudi Arabia, is trying to force Panama out of the market. They want to buy all the oil factories and oil refineries in Panama. So by dropping the price, can you make a lot of profit? You can't. But guess what country has so much money it doesn't matter? Saudi Arabia. Guess what country does not have a lot of money? Panama. If you don't know anything about Panama right now, Panama is going completely bankrupt, and their whole country is like killing each other right now in a massive civil war because people are starving to death in their own homes. Because there's no food, there's no money, the economy is completely standstill. Why? Because OPEC is driving down the price of oil. The largest export coming out of Panama is oil. If oil has no value, guess what? They have no economy, nothing is coming out of there. So what's happening is Saudi Arabia is driving down the prices of oil, so Panama's not making any money. Eventually, what is Panama going to have to do? They're going to have to sell, right? Guess who's going to buy all the oil refineries? Guess who's then going to immediately, as soon as they purchase all the oil refineries in Panama, what are they going to do? Why? They control world power. They have complete control. That's OPEC. Guess what John D. Rockefeller did with oil before it was a thing? He bought a bunch, drove down the prices for all the smaller companies who couldn't last. Guess what happened? They had to sell all their oil refineries. Guess who came up and bought them? Rockefeller. So, once he bought a new territory, what did he do? Drop the prices down again. Then he would hit a whole new bunch, correct? Then once they went under, he would buy them up. This is how he took over the oil. It's genius. Can we agree? It is cutthroat. It is horrible. So, what means is that John D. Rockefeller controlled how much oil and how much gas prices were for the United States. Is that a good thing or a bad thing for normal people like you and I? Oh my God, it's terrible. Just like when Panama officially does collapse, which will in the next year or two, guess what's going to happen to your oil prices, ladies and gentlemen? It's going to go right back up.
We're starting to drive too.
Yeah, so welcome to the problem. So, with that being said, it's going to be a huge thing. John D. Rockefeller is the first one to do it. Now, it's also going to happen with steel. It's also going to happen with a lot of other industries, which is why we have a no trust, which is a big deal here in the United States. All right, I'm done.